Namaskar. Good afternoon to one and all present here. It is quite exhilarating to see industry stalwarts, flag bearers, and torch bearers from all walks of ports, shipping, and waterways gracing this event with their benign presence. Bharat Pravah, a series of conferences and dialogues, is an initiative of the Institute for Governance, Policies, and Politics in association with the Ministry of Ports, Shipping, and Waterways to make the masses aware about how maritime trade not only aids the development of an economy, but also impacts our daily lives and facilitates the exchange of culture, customs, and cuisines. Every new journey is embarked upon in the guidance of light with a little zest and a lot of might. Therefore, I request all the dignitaries to kindly come forward and light the auspicious lamp. Thank you so much, everyone. I now request Sri Gopal Krishna ji to kindly come forward and felicitate our Honorable Minister with a shawl and a memento. Now I request Dr. Manish Tiwari and Dr. Shada Das to kindly come forward and felicitate our honorable guests. Shri Sanjeev Sanyal, member of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council. Shri Amitabh Kumar, Director General, Shipping. Shri Gopal Krishna, Chairman, Conciliation and Settlement Committee and former Secretary for the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. Shri Sanjay Sethi, Chairman, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust. Shri Dhruv Kotak, Managing Director, J.M. Baxi. Thank you, everyone. Now, I would like to take the opportunity to invite Sri Gopal Krishna ji to welcome the gathering with his warm words. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure and pride to welcome Honorable Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Honorable Mr. Sonowal. I also welcome other distinguished guests present on the dais. And let me just recognize Dhruv on my extreme left, followed by Sanjay Sethi, Amitabh Kumar, Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, and Dr. Manish Tiwari. I also see in this gathering Asit Tripathi, who's CEO of Adani Ports, Mr. Wadhwa, Sandeep Wadhwa. I also see Professor Shinde, and ladies and gentlemen. Let me just start by anecdotally just telling you how this whole Bharat Pravah and what it wants to achieve started. And this was, I'll take you back to say 2017. I was joining the ministry as secretary. I was working in the state government. I was joining the ministry. And when I was joining, that point of time, my colleagues, my friends, everyone said that, are you in your right senses? You're trying to go to Government of India? It's a very tough place to work. You're always subjected to all immense kind of reviews and, PM is calling you, minister is us. So it's not what used to happen, say, 5-7 years back, where things were so easy. It is going to be extremely difficult, So please, please be sure that you, want to live a very cushy kind of, existence in a state and then go to Government of India and fall into a huge rigmarole. And I landed up here. And let me be frank, also, there was the second kind of voices that what Ministry of Shipping, no one knew Ministry of Shipping, it's a, people say, what a demotion, So going to a place no one knows, what do they do, what they don't do, it's a very hidden kind of ministry. So what is the use of going to that? People still perceive, going to a very high-fly ministry, there are a large number, let me also not name them, So that was the perception. I came to Government of India as secretary. And then I saw actually what is happening. This perception gets formed out of the fact that this ministry is essentially a business-to-business ministry. We deal largely with businesses. Very little connect with the general public, with the public at large. And governments are so tuned to be, public-centric. They're extremely glued to issues which are ease of, living. And PM always talks of things like ease of living, how to make life easy for public. That is refrain all the time. And the ministry also, I was, when I came, I found was transforming. It's trying to, create waterways, because waterways are something which do touch you from all around, people from all around. But still, that is only cargo, It's not people. It's not public transport, Sagarmala. So in various ways, the ministry is also trying to see how they can become people-centric. And a minister like Mr. Sonowal, he's a chief minister, such a famous chief minister and such a well-known chief minister, so people-centric, So now he came, And obviously, the organizers here, the IGPP, they would have approached him. And he being, what he is, he would have said, please create something where we can take the message of the ministry right down to everyone, right down to the public. And that's how I think so the journey started. And that's the time they approached me. So I said, right, that seems to be a very good idea. I also felt the same way when I joined, that, it's too far removed from people. It's a business-oriented ministry, People don't know. So that's a very good objective first. That's one extreme of the entire, gamut of governance, So good. But then I said that we should also create a very technical space for ourselves, We do not have a system of any recognition, benchmarking our ports and terminals internationally. What to talk of international benchmarking? We don't have a system of benchmarking within our own country. There is no system of recognition. There is no system of award giving. There is no system of knowing whether our ports are within organizations. I'm sure, Adani's and JM Bakshis, JSW's, DP Worlds, they're all trying to, see that they can become efficient, but not through competition and through, competition maybe surely business-wise, but not in hard facts, That's what the feeling was. And then we discussed with a lot of people. And this idea emerged that led us work in two extremes. One is extremely people-oriented, and the other is be extremely technical. And try to create a space, a very intellectually technical space, where we can assess the entire sector. We'll start with ports, and then slowly move on to other places. So today, the next phase, I would say, moving forward, there are three things that are going to happen. We are going to announce a program, audio-visual kind of program that this organization is going to take, Bharat Pravah is going to take. Second is about reaching out to the schools through a various process of competition and various things. And thirdly is this whole new concept, a new paradigm in our efficiency, seeking efficiency for ports by institution of Bharat Pravah Award. So these are the three main objectives that we are going to move forward with. So with these words, we have Sanjeev Sanyal, who's such a well-known, economist, and he's what a difference he is from very past speakers, where he's really brought upfront the economic and historical perspective of this country from the Indian eyes, not from an international or from a colored, visioned, opinionated eye, but from a real Indian nationalist eye, So, and I'm going to sure that he's going to tell us something about his perception of waterways, shipping, and whole sector, how he looks at it, and how he sees moving forward. Before I ask my next speaker to speak, let me just raise four important issues, policy issues, because there's going to be a session on policies. Minister is there. I take this occasion to raise four issues. Being an ex-bureaucrat, I cannot but raise issues. That's what our job is. Sir, there are four issues I will raise. Maybe it'll stuck somewhere in our mind. First is, I think so, our port sector has not progressed that strongly compared to the airport sector or the railway sector. One of the reasons is that there is a problem of predatory investment, and all of us who are sitting here in this room know, you set up a port, 20 kilometers next becomes comes up another port. How can anyone where investments are so huge, if he doesn't have a certainty for some time, why will he invest? So that's a big problem. It has to be addressed through the amendment to Indian Ports Act. I know attempt was started long time back. You also have now come up with a draft. This issue needs to be addressed. Just as in airports, we keep a minimum distance of 150 kilometers, 200 kilometers. In highways, we keep a distance. No, there has to be exclusivity, to investment. Similarly for ports, I know there are sensitivities regarding states, but we must address it. Second, sir, is about waterways. We have a very good national waterway, one which connects India and Bangladesh. I think so we must increase the protocol route right up till Banaras. You have created such a buzz in the industry by having this Ganga, this cruise we started yesterday, PM, flagged off yesterday, day before yesterday. So we must allow Bangladeshi ships up to Bangladesh, meaning that the protocol route must get extended to Banaras. Only then waterways will be very vibrant. So third is about this whole coastal shipping, and I think so Amitabh is here. For very long we have been trying our coastal shipping is not at all developed. Let me say, we have been attempting to do it for a very long time. It still bears a very small percentage of all goods carriage along the coast. Very, very minuscule component. We must relax cabotage laws, coasting laws to allow international shipping without licenses. Free it. Only then we'll be able to see some spurred growth in our coastal shipping. And lastly, sir, is about Major Ports Act. We have and now I can say with my hindsight as a chairman of this conciliation committee, it's got traction. We've got large number of cases. And I found cases are getting stuck up in courts itself. In the Major Ports Act, we have created another body called the Adjudicatory Board, which is again a litigation forum. Again, cases will get stuck up there. It'll have no use. We create another additional litigation forum, and where the appeal will go, it's not certain. I don't think so we require to go ahead creating another body which will hamper solutions rather than create solutions. So with these words, sir, I again welcome you. I welcome all the other eminent guest speakers on the dais and all of you to this first series. We will have round of series of Bharat Pravah going across. We will focus on areas which do not touch, shores, Indore, Ranchi, places like that, where people don't know about shipping. They only know, seamen come from there, but we need to tell them about what shipping is, what ports are, what do they do, what waterways are, So with these words, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir, for putting forth the objectives of Bharat Pravah as an awareness program and also highlighting the policy issues of ports, shipping, and waterways. I now invite Shri Sanjeev Sanyal to give away the keynote address. Please, sir.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister of Shipping, Shri Sonowal ji. Also, good afternoon to all my esteemed colleagues on the stage and to all of you in the audience as well. I'm very pleased to see this effort on Bharat Pravah because it will hopefully trigger a conversation, a more serious conversation, as well as trigger a consciousness in India about our maritime lineage. One of the strange things of India is that we are the only country in the world after whom an ocean is named, the Indian Ocean. Yet our mental outlook, despite this large coastline and as I will show you, a very long maritime history, our mental outlook, unfortunately, is entirely landlocked. We tend to have a very continental view. It may be partly because our capital happens to be in Delhi, but in every sphere of activity, our mindset tends to be continental. I can see a lot of friends here from the Navy. I know they'll appreciate my saying this, but even our defense policy tends to be continental. When we think of our neighbors, we think of our friendly neighbor to the west and another friendly neighbor to the north. But the fact is, if you take a maritime perspective, we have many other neighbors as well. We have Indonesia as a neighbor. The entire east coast of Africa is a neighbor. Even Australia is a neighbor. People very often forget that Australia is actually an Indian Ocean country, as much as it is a Pacific country. And of course, the entire Gulf is our neighbor. And not something I'm just saying because it happens to be a geographical fact and it sounds good in a speech. Our entire history is actually largely driven by maritime concerns rather than continental concerns. Again, sadly, the way our textbooks are written gives you a very continental, landlocked view of our history, mostly about Delhi. But in fact, if you take a wider view of history, you will see that going back 5,000 years back, the ports of the Indus-Saraswati civilization had close links to the Sumerian civilization, the Egyptians, and so on. So if you go to the Gulf today, you'll see large numbers of Indians living there. It turns out that 5,000 years ago, there were Indians living in enclaves in and around Sumerian cities. And the Sumerians have left us records of people coming from a land they used to then call Meluha to trade, bringing what are obviously Indian products, cotton cloth, ivory, peacocks, and so on. Now, it may find you some interesting that the very first record of an Indian anywhere in the world is actually from Sumeria. It's a court case in which an Indian had punched a local and a drunken brawl. So it's quite possible source of prohibition in Gujarat. Now, the point is that this long history does not end with that early phase. It carries on throughout our long history. So there were ports all along the west coast of India. One of the most famous ports of ancient world was Muziris, or what we call Muchiripatnam, now in Kerala. And there are records of hundreds of ships going both ways, Roman and Greek ships coming to trade in India, and Indian ships going to the ports on the Red Sea or going to the Persian Gulf and so on. And it is also true of the other coast. You had ships from Odisha, Bengal, from Andhra, Tamil coast, sailing initially along the coast to Thailand and then to Vietnam. But after the 2nd, 3rd century AD, they were quite happily figured out how the monsoon winds worked, and they were sailing out to Indonesia and further out all the way through to Japan and Korea and so on. This is the reason you see such a lot of Indian influence in Southeast Asia and even further out to East Asia. The largest Hindu temple in the world is not in India, it's in Cambodia, Angkor Wat. Korean history begins with the marriage of a local prince to a princess from, guess where, Ayodhya. All of this was done through maritime linkages, not through land linkages. There were land linkages too. There were scholars coming from, for example, China to study in Nalanda. But do remember that many of them either came by or went back by the maritime route, like Fahian, for example. Similarly, much of the upkeep of Nalanda, by the way, was funded by the kings of Srivijaya, which is now we know as Sumatra. So there is a lot of ancient linkages that remained in the world, and these linkages are still alive to today. After all, Singapore is called Singhapura, the Lion City. Indonesia calls itself Indonesia after us, our country. Their currency is called the rupiah. Their national symbol is the Garuda of Vishnu, even though it's a Muslim majority country. So the point I'm making is that these maritime linkages are powerful. They're alive in many cultural aspects in many parts of the world. Even today, they are alive in our cultural aspects. For example, the biggest festival that happens in Odisha happens on Kartik Purnima. And on Kartik Purnima, which happens in November, the custom is that the women, mostly women, but others as well, go out to a water body and put a small paper boat with a lamp in it. So what are they actually doing? What they're actually doing is they're reenacting ancient times when ships from Odisha would sail out to Indonesia at this time of the year, because this is the time of the year when the winds stop blowing from south to north and begin blowing north to south. So they would use these winds to sail out to Indonesia. And concurrent to this, there is actually in Cuttack a huge fair called Bali Jatra, which literally means the voyage to Bali. So all of these are still alive. The good news is that after many centuries of not giving too much emphasis on our maritime past, there's been a recent revival of interest in these issues. And you have, for example, a project, some of you may find interesting to know, of building an ancient ship using a 2,000-year-old design of stitched shipping is being built with the help of the Indian Navy and the Ministry of Culture, and some help from the Ministry of Shipping as well. And the idea is to sail this wooden ship, about 20-meter long wooden ship, built by this ancient model, design, from Konarak and sail it all the way to Bali. So this project is being put together, and it was announced a few months ago. And so we hope that in a year or so, or 2 years from now, we'll have a ship and we'll be able to carry this out as a good adventure. And this fits into what is being attempted here at Bharat Pravah, which is to create a maritime shipping consciousness in this country, because as I said, for a variety of reasons, we have got a very, almost think of, say, a ministry like shipping as being sort of an add-on ministry, an infrastructure ministry, whereas in fact, it is not. It's very much a part of who we are. As I said, just look at a map of our country. We've got one of the longest coastlines in the world. Uh, we already are the fifth largest economy in the world. We aspire to be the third largest economy in the world by the end of the decade. This will not work until we can make our sea lanes work, our ports work. This will not work until we can project power in our Indian Ocean region. This will not work until we essentially are able to turn the Indian Ocean as being a rival to the Pacific Rim as an engine of growth. So all of this requires having a maritime worldview, which I'm glad that finally a lot of attention is being given, and this event today is to get not just the policymakers, but to get a wider community to be created, whether it's academics or younger people, and the wider community of ecosystem where there is a culture of thinking about things in a maritime way. Of course, I've talked mostly about the seas, but of course, the waterways have been also integral to transportation inside the country. If you read some of our ancient texts, there is lots of mention of people sailing up and down the Ganga, for example, all the way to Allahabad or even beyond. In fact, I don't know if you are aware that during Mughal times, the main gates that were used by the Mughal emperors to enter Delhi were not the grand gates you see on the landward side, which you may think is the way they went in and out of the city. In fact, they used to entirely go up and down between Agra and Delhi by boat. So the real entrance is the one that is unfortunately now landlocked and far away from the river. But that was the main gate that Shah Jahan would have used when he came to the new city of Shah Jahanabad. He came up from Agra by boat, and the main gate is now all filled up with earth. But that was in fact the main gate. That's why you see all the main palace buildings are all along on the river side, because that is the real side of the river that the emperor himself would have seen first and interacted with. So now, before I end, let me say that given that these issues are up and running, and Mr. Gopal Krishna told us about 4 topics that he talked about that we need to take into account. Let me add one more. Since I have been the advocate of building an ancient ship, let me say that I am also an advocate of building new ships. We have created a fair amount of capacity in India to build top-notch warships, but in fact we have the capacity, technological capacity, of becoming a serious shipbuilding power. It requires some of the things he talked about to be solved, particularly cabotage and other things. But we need to think of ourselves as a serious shipbuilding power, because we cannot be a maritime power and a shipping power unless we have our own capacity of building ships. And there is every reason to do that. The economics works. We have the skills, we have the steel, we have the economic need for these ships, because we are ourselves an economic power. So really it's for us to get on with it and do it. And there are old regulations and other things that need to be removed. I think we need to get on with it and do it. With that, let me stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for making us aware of various unknown and interesting facts, and also allowing us to expand our consciousness to tap into the importance of ports, shipping, and waterways, not only for the economy, but in our day-to-day lives. The first learning block is set while we are in school. Writing competitions help in grasping information in the best manner. Therefore, I call upon Shri Amitabh Kumarji to talk about the essay competition being organized for schools by Bharat Pravah to highlight the importance of ports, shipping, and waterways among the future generations. Sir, please.
Honorable Minister, Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways, Mr. Sanyal, Mr. Gopal Krishna, Mr. Mr. Sanjay Sethi, and Mr. Dhruv Kotak. All the dignitaries assembled here. The Bharat Pravah essay competition for the young is meant to attract the young, enthusiastic energy that will lead the nation to new heights and shape its destiny in future. Bharat Pravah intends to connect students of the inland areas to the rich heritage of rivers, seas, and its people. And so Bharat Pravah will be organizing an essay competition to make the youth of the country to be aware of the significance of ports and shipping. The quiz and essay competition in its first phase will take place in 5 non-port states of Bihar, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Haryana, as well as Delhi. It will be organized in the government and private schools and colleges at higher secondary and graduate level. 20 students will be selected from each district through a competition organized across the district. These selected students will be brought to state capital for state-level competition, and from them, 20 students will be selected to take on a tour to ports. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. To acknowledge the tenacious work being done by different stakeholders across different sectors of ports, shipping, and waterways, Bharat Pravah brings to you the Bharat Pravah Puruskar. I request Shri Sanjay Sethi to kindly come forward and enlighten us more about it.
Honorable Minister, dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. I think Shri Gopal Krishna mentioned about this, that one of the major components of this exercise will be Bharat Pravah Puruskar, recognizing good work and innovations lead to admiration for the same and encourages others to emulate. The same can be made true for the shipping industry. With this vision in mind, Bharat Pravah brings to you a new and first of its kind initiative, Bharat Pravah Puruskar. These awards are being instituted for port terminals to set international benchmarks for assessment of efficiency and effectiveness, as currently, not only in India, but even internationally, we do not really have such awards based on a fair assessment of efficiency and effectiveness. In the beginning, 4 awards are being proposed based on: 1, dwell time of containers, which will be essentially for container terminals; turnaround time for container terminals, that's the second one; gross berth output for bulk cargo terminals; and then a 4th one for transshipment. This award will be given to the winners solely on the basis of performance and key parameters during each financial year, starting with the year 2022-23. In course of time, the awards and categories will be scaled up. The scale and scope will be evolving over the time by constituting a technical committee, as I understand, which will look into these details, and it will be an effective way of recognizing the relevant stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Radio is and has been the best medium to disseminate information. One of the most reliable sources of infotainment in today's world, it has also been used by Bharat Pravah to bring forth some unheard stories related to maritime trade while highlighting the recent developments by the government in the same. I call upon Shri Dhruv Kotak to present to you a small snippet of the radio show Sang Pravah Ke.
I think Honorable Minister and all dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, warm welcome to the launch event of Bharat Pravah. I think the indispensability of rivers and seas to our social, economic and cultural life, though known to all of us, is actually missed in our daily lives, which is so true. I think both Gopal Krishna sir and Mr. Sanyal also said the same thing. Actually, the awareness which is there in society at large is something that's missing. I think songs of the rivers, life of the communities living along shores and rivers, their culture, their cuisine, celebration have remained limited only to them and have been missed by people who are far away in today's times. To make this connect, Bharat Pravah will launch Sang Pravah Ke, a series of stories, podcasts, and narratives about the importance of ports, shippings, and waterways on a radio station. The radio show aims to connect seas and rivers to the social psyche or janmanas of the common people and provide better integration to those marginalized communities whose stories have long been forgotten. We have a story.
बचपन में पढ़ी नदी और समंदर की कहानियां आज भी याद हैं हमें, और हम ये भी मानते और जानते हैं कि मानवीय सभ्यताओं को स्थापित किया इन्हीं लहरों ने। इतिहास की साक्षी रही हैं। कल्चर, क्यूजीन और कस्टम्स के आदान प्रदान का जरिया है ये पानी की लहरें, और तो और पूरी दुनिया को इन लहरों ने मरीन लाइन से जोड़ रखा है। यानी नदी और समंदर के जलमार्ग हमारे जीवन को बेहतर बनाने में एक बहुत अहम भूमिका निभा रही हैं। कब और कैसे, इसी से आपको परिचित कराने के लिए पत्तन, पोत परिवहन और जलमार्ग मंत्रालय के सहयोग से हम लेकर आए हैं ये कार्यक्रम संग प्रवाह के, और मैं हूँ आपके साथ आपकी दोस्त पूनम श्रीवास्तव।
चले चले रे तारा, तुझको चलना होगा।
तो चलिए सबसे पहले हम आपको लेकर चल रहे हैं गुजरात के प्राचीन शहर लोथल में। ये शहर सिंधु घाटी सभ्यता के शहरों में एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण बंदरगाह शहर है। लेकिन क्या आप जानते हैं कि इस शहर को दुनिया का पहला नेवल डॉकयार्ड माना जाता है? और इसकी इसी रेलेवेंस को देखते हुए मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पोर्ट्स, शिपिंग एंड वाटरवेज लोथल में एक नेशनल मैरीटाइम हेरिटेज कॉम्प्लेक्स बना रही है। इस कॉम्प्लेक्स में मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी का इस्तेमाल करते हुए राष्ट्रीय मैरीटाइम की धरोहर से सभी को रूबरू कराया जाएगा। जैसे कि आज हम करा रहे हैं, पानी की लहरों की अहमियत के बारे में आपको परिचित कराने के लिए लेकर आए हैं ये कार्यक्रम संग प्रवाह के। और अगर हम आज के समुद्री व्यापार की बात करें तो लगभग 90% माल ढुलाई का काम समुद्र से होता है। बहुत ताकत है इन लहरों में। अब आप ये भी जरूर जानना चाहते होंगे कि ये काम होता कहाँ और कैसे होता है। तो आपकी जानकारी बढ़ाते हुए हम आपको बता दें कि भारत में करीब 200 बंदरगाह या पोर्ट्स हैं, जिनमें 12 मेजर पोर्ट्स हैं। और रही बात मेजर पोर्ट स्टेट्स, वो हैं महाराष्ट्र, गुजरात, तमिलनाडु, कर्नाटक, केरल, उड़ीसा। यानी आप समझ रहे हैं ना कि पानी की लहरों से इंसान की उम्मीदें किस तरह से जुड़ी रहती हैं। आप सुन रहे हैं कार्यक्रम संग प्रवाह के, जो आप तक पहुंच रहा है पत्तन, पोत परिवहन और जलमार्ग मंत्रालय के सहयोग से। मैं हूं आपके साथ आपकी दोस्त पूनम श्रीवास्तव।
I would now like to take the privilege to request Honorable Minister Shri Sarbananda Sonowal ji to officially inaugurate Bharat Pravah while addressing the gathering. Sir, please.
इनलैंड वाटरवेज में भी आपसी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनी है। By 2047 have to make themselves as a self-reliant nation, powerful nation of the world. उसी लक्ष्य को हासिल करने के लिए देशवासियों ने मन बना ली है और इसलिए हमारी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के सिलसिले में अलग अलग मंत्रालय ने भी जो कदम उठाए हैं, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री, आज सब में सफलता देशवासियों ने देखने लगा है और इसके लिए हर व्यक्ति अब ये अनुभव उपलब्धि कर रहे हैं। ऐसा नहीं कि ये कोई सरकारी कार्यक्रम है, सरकार की बीच में ही सीमित है, ऐसा नहीं। देशवासियों के बीच में ये आवाज, ये उपलब्धि जाग उठा है। तो इसलिए मुझे मानना है कि अगले दिनों के लिए हम कैसे नई पीढ़ियों को सारे इस आंदोलन में जोड़े। ये भारत प्रवास जो है, ये कार्यक्रम नई पीढ़ियों को जोड़ने का है। देशवासियों का नदी में हो या सागर में बसा हुआ संपदा, शक्ति और संभावना को कैसे हम सही जानकारी दें, उपलब्धि जगाए, ये सारी व्यवस्था को हम कैसे सुरक्षित रखें, हर नदी का ख्याल कैसे रखें। अब देखिए, 8 साल पहले गंगा की किस हालत में गंगा बहती थी। गंगा का पानी हम सब मानते हैं ये सेक्रेट रिवर है, हॉली रिवर है, इस हम सब के लिए अपेक्षा होता है। लेकिन इस हालत हो गए 2,500 से अधिक इंडस्ट्री का वाटर गंगा में बहने लगे और गंगा का पानी पीने का लायक नहीं। परमादरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने गंगा मिशन, क्लीन मिशन शुरू की। इसके वजह से आज गंगा का जल आप निश्चित रूप से ले सकते हैं और जिसके लिए अब वेस्टर्न लोगों का माइंडसेट बदल चुका है। देश के अंदर स्वच्छ भारत अभियान के जरिए 8 साल के अंदर जो परिवर्तन, बदलाव हुआ है, सिर्फ गंगा ही नहीं, देशवासियों ने विशेष रूप से ख्याल रखा। इस देश का जो नजरिया, देश का शक्ति का रोशनी आज दुनिया ने देखने लगे। इसलिए मुझे ये बताते हुए बड़े गौरव महसूस होता है, परम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की कुशल नेतृत्व की वजह से, उनकी विजनरी लीडरशिप की वजह से आज बनारसी से डिब्रूगढ़ तक दुनिया का लॉन्गेस्ट रिवर कोर्स आज संभव हुई है। ये कभी भी किसी ने भी कल्पना नहीं की थी। हमारी नदी में भी ऐसा हो सकता है, कभी किसी ने कल्पना की ही नहीं थी। आज सबकी दिमाग में ऐसे शक्ति की रोशनी दी गई है जिसकी वजह से आज हर प्रदेश में जितना भी नदी है, सहयोगी नदी या बड़ा नदी, नेशनल वाटरवेज हो या ट्रिब्यूटरीज हो, सबको आज सभी समाज उसको विशेष रूप से आदर करने के लिए सबने मन बना लिए है। ये हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ी सफलता है, क्योंकि न भारत नदी का बिना ये भारत का सभ्यता संस्कृति का जो इतिहास पूरा नहीं होती। अब देखिए, गंगा, जमुना, सरस्वती है ना, ज्ञान, भक्ति, वैरागी, इन चीजों को अगर हमने सीखा है तो इसी से सीखा है। हर नदी का ऐसा ही शक्तिशाली इतिहास है जो हमें विजडम देती है, नॉलेज देती है, और पर्यावरण को सजाने में नदी का कितना महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका है, सदियों से है और रहेगा। आज क्लाइमेट चेंज के सिलसिले में परम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने दुनिया के मानव समाज को जो रास्ता दिखाई है, इसके वजह से आज दुनिया का मानव समाज एकत्रित हुए है, प्रतिबद्ध हुए है कि हमारे इस पृथ्वी का पर्यावरण को हम सही रखें। क्लाइमेट अगर हमारा सही रहे तो हर जीव यानी कि हर प्राणी ये पृथ्वी अगर सही रहे, प्रकृति अगर सही रहे, तो प्राणी आराम से जी सकते हैं। प्रकृति, प्राणी, पानी और प्राण ये अभिन्न अंग है। प्रकृति, प्राणी, पानी और प्राण, इसको समझने का बहुत जरूरी है हम सबको। हाँ, हमारी देखिए, नदी हो या सागर, कभी कंजूसी नहीं की है ना। आज देश की अर्थव्यवस्था और समाज की अर्थव्यवस्था, हर व्यक्ति को अर्थव्यवस्था मजबूत बनाने में हमें ये सारे रिवर सिस्टम, हमारे कोस्टल वाटरवेज, हमारे सी रोड ने कितनी बड़ी भूमिका ली है, सदियों से ली है। हमें जब भी हम इतिहास अध्ययन करते हैं, हमारी हिस्टोरिकल सिग्निफिकेंस, इसका सेंटिमेंटल वैल्यू हम देखते हैं। स्वामी विवेकानंद जी हो, महामानव महात्मा गांधी हो, सब लोगों ने अगर विदेश यात्रा कैसे की थी, सी रोड से की थी। सबको मालूम है, एक देश का साथ दूसरे देश का जो बीच में ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स, कल्चरल रिलेशनशिप और इंटेलेक्चुअल एक्सचेंज सब कुछ संभव हुए थी जलमार्ग के जरिए। इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि इन चीजों को हमें हमेशा महत्व देना ही होगा। तो इसलिए नई पीढ़ियों को इस विषय पर हमें इस आंदोलन में शामिल करना बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि देश का जो 8 प्रमुख स्थान है बायोडाइवर्सिटी का, इस बायोडाइवर्सिटी का प्रमुख स्थान को हम सही सुरक्षित रखें, क्योंकि और नदी का, हमारे जलमार्ग का अगर साफ हम हमेशा रख पाया, तो हमारे जीवन हमेशा सरल, सकारात्मक और समृद्धिशाली से भर जाएगा, खुशियों से भर जाएगा, ये निश्चित है। आज मैं इस सभा में उपस्थित हमारे उद्योग जगत के, बिजनेस जगत के हस्ती, आप सबको भी मैं विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद देता हूं। आप लोगों ने भाग लिया, आपकी जो बिजनेस स्किल है, जो मार्केटिंग एबिलिटी है, और हमारी इनलैंड वाटरवेज हो, कोस्टल शिपिंग हो, सी रोड हो, एग्जिम डोमेस्टिक ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स के सिलसिले में आप लोगों का जो भूमिका रहे, ये हमेशा बड़ी प्रशंसनीय है। तो मैं अगले दिनों में आप लोगों से यही अपेक्षा करूंगा कि भगवान ने जो शक्ति हमें दे के रखी है, उसको आप इकोलॉजी को, एनवायरनमेंट को नुकसान ना करते हुए हम इससे मैक्सिमम हम कैसे इसमें बेनिफिट ले, इस पर आप लोगों को सही रणनीति प्रस्तुत करना होगा, सही रणनीति प्रस्तुत करना होगा, सही योजना प्रस्तुत करना होगा, सही कार्यक्रम प्रस्तुत करना होगा। तो इसलिए पोर्ट शिपिंग वाटरवेज ये मंत्रालय आपके लिए तैयार है, आपको मदद करने के लिए खुले दिल से तैयार है, क्योंकि परम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो हमें लक्ष्य दी थी फाइनेंशियल ईयर 21-22, यानी कि $400 बिलियन, तो इतना तक हमें एक्सपोर्ट करने के लिए जो हमें दायित्व दी थी, और हम लोगों ने भारत सरकार की अलग अलग कंसर्न मंत्रालय, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स, इंडस्ट्रीज, सब लोगों ने, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस, ऑल रेलवेज, रोडवेज, ऑल रिलेटेड मिनिस्ट्री, पोर्ट शिपिंग वाटरवेज, हम लोगों ने एक साथ इंटीग्रेटेड एफर्ट से इस काम को हम लोगों ने सही समय पर पूरा किया। तो इसलिए आज पीएम गति शक्ति नेशनल मास्टर प्लान, मल्टी मॉडल कनेक्टिविटी और नेशनल लॉजिस्टिक पॉलिसी, सारी पॉलिसी प्रोग्राम के जरिए आज हम लोगों का शक्ति दुगुना बढ़ चुका है। हम अकेला नहीं है, अभी कोई भी मंत्रालय अकेला काम नहीं करते, इंटीग्रेटेड एफर्ट। आज आप देखिए, आप हेल्थ सेक्टर में देखिए, पहले मॉडर्न मेडिसिन अकेला काम करता था, अब मॉडर्न और ट्रेडिशनल को माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने एक साथ जोड़ा है, क्योंकि दोनों मंत्रालय का, इधर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ आयुष और मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर, दोनों का लक्ष्य एक ही है, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ डिजीज, preservation of human health, promotion of human health. If it is so, why don't you work together? Why don't you develop a holistic relationship of working relationship? So this is what rightly Honorable Prime Minister has directed to both the ministry. Now we are working together. We are trying to develop the same like structure of both the like system available up to the grassroots. So this is how this particular government is functioning. This is how ease of doing business, ease of living, all kind of easiness has come to the system. And as a result, citizens are feeling very much comfortable. All the citizens in the country, they're enjoying their right and privileges. So, मैं मानता हूं कि आप निश्चित रूप से आज इस सभा में जो उपस्थित हुए हैं, तो मैंने आप लोगों को बहुत बहुत हृदय से धन्यवाद देता हूं। और यहाँ कोई विद्यार्थी है क्या? बहुत है। मैं विद्यार्थियों को विशेष रूप से, आप लोगों ने आज इस कार्यक्रम में भाग ली, तो इसके लिए आप धन्यवाद के पात्र है, क्योंकि भविष्य आप सबको मालूम है, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बार बार प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है कि यूथ लेड डेवलपमेंट, युवा शक्ति को विशेष रूप से देश को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के सिलसिले में बड़े महत्वपूर्ण कदम उठाना होगा। तो इसलिए युवा शक्ति को इस विषय पर सामने आना होगा, आगे आना होगा और सारी चीज़ों को समझना होगा। अलग अलग विभाग, अलग अलग पॉलिसी प्रोग्राम कैसे सफल रूप से उसको साकार किया गया है और कैसे हर प्रोग्राम को इम्प्लीमेंट किया गया है, इन चीज़ों को आप अगर सही तरह समझे तो मुझे लगता है कि हम इस देश का जो शक्ति है, इस देश को विश्व गुरु बनाने में, इस देश को सर्वश्रेष्ठ राष्ट्र बनाने में निश्चित रूप से सफलता प्राप्त करेंगे। कम दिनों के अंदर, जैसे हमारे सन्याल जी ने कहा, इसी दशक की अगली सन में हम दुनिया का 3rd लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी बनेंगे। इतना बड़े लक्ष्य हमने तय की है। यह संभव है क्योंकि हमारा पास ऐसा नेता है, नरेंद्र मोदी जी, हमारे देश के आदर्शवादी नेता, दुनिया के सबसे लोकप्रिय नेता और मजबूत नेता, ईमानदार, निष्ठावान और कर्मयोगी। इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि ये सब संभव है। इसलिए आज देश को कैसे उन्होंने एकत्रित किया है, आप लोगों ने देखा है। ये एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत। आज ये जो गंगा से आपको बनारस से जो डिब्रूगढ़ लॉन्गेस्ट जो रिवर क्रूज, इससे क्या है, कई चीज़ों का इससे हमें याद दिलाती है। जैसे एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी। एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी का मतलब क्या है? हमारे देश के अंदर सबसे बैकवर्ड रीजन माना जाता था up to 2014 तक, that was northeastern region. Northeastern region means comprising of 8 states: Sikkim, Tripura, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Manipur, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, and Assam. From all sides, and totally it was troublesome, deteriorated law and order situation. No peace, all the time there was killing, kidnapping, all kind of things were there. But no one was there to address those important issues. But Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, immediately after taking over the responsibility, he has taken the issues of the entire region on the top of the priority agenda of the nation. And as a result, within 8 years' time, look at the growth of Northeast. अष्टलक्ष्मी, जिन्होंने कहा देश की अष्टलक्ष्मी है नॉर्थ ईस्ट, अगर नॉर्थ ईस्ट आगे नहीं बढ़ा तो देश आगे नहीं बढ़ सकता। आज ग्रोथ इंजन के हिसाब से नॉर्थ ईस्ट ने अपना भूमिका निभाया है और एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी को उसी हिसाब से परम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री ने साकार किया है। और इस क्रूज ने भी यही प्रमाण किया है। 3200 किलोमीटर ब्रह्मपुत्र का मतलब है सारा नॉर्थ ईस्ट का पानी ब्रह्मपुत्र में आता है। और पास में पड़ोसी हमारी देश है भूटान, नेपाल, इनसे से पानी जोड़ते हैं। तो ऐसे ही देश का साथ साथ पड़ोसी देश को भी इसी सफर ने जोड़ लिया है। सो दिस इज हाउ दिस काइंड ऑफ विजन of Honorable Prime Minister, how he could able to integrate the nation by way of action with effective policy and program. And now, Bangladesh, through protocol route, we are moving to Dibrugarh. And that way, Bangladesh is also very integrated. Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, all BBI and family got together through this journey. So this is how India is achieving landmark success across the globe through the visionary initiative of our Honorable Prime Minister. तो आज इस सभा में गोपाल कृष्ण जी भी इसमें जुड़े हुए हैं ना, आप भी तो है तो मनीष तिवारी जी है, तो आपकी सारी जो भी सहयोगी है सबको मैं धन्यवाद देता हूं। और हमारी इस सभा में संजीव सोनोवाल जी, तो उन्होंने जैसे हमें भी इस सभा को संबोधन किया और आप सबको हौसला दिया, इसके लिए आपको भी धन्यवाद देता हूं। मैं मंत्री होने का नहीं, ये विषय क्योंकि हमारी है और हमारी बड़े काबिल दो अधिकारी अमिताभ कुमार जी और हमारी संजय सेठी जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और साथ में हमारे ध्रुव कटक जी है, बहुत धन्यवाद। आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आप ऐसे ही हमेशा देश के हितों के लिए समर्पित भावनाओं से आप जुड़े रहिए। और आपको मैं विशेष रूप से एक बात कह सकता हूं, अब आप लोगों ने देखी है कि हिंदुस्तान का जो पहचान सभी जैसे दुनिया में बड़े उसी स्थान पाने में मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जो सफलता हासिल की गई है, तो मुझे लगता है कि निश्चित रूप से अगले दिनों में हम बाय 2047 निश्चित रूप से ये देश दुनिया की सर्वश्रेष्ठ राष्ट्र बनेगा और साथ साथ में दुनिया को एकत्रित होकर दुनिया में शांति व्यवस्था कायम रखने के लिए भारत ही दुनिया को मार्गदर्शन देगा। इसी उम्मीद का साथ मैं फिर से भारत प्रवास ये कार्यक्रम देश भर में सफल हो, यह मेरा विशेष रूप से आप लोगों से उम्मीद है। आप भी अपने जो भी ट्विटर हैंडल है, जो भी सोशल मीडिया है, आप कम से कम आपकी जो भी रिश्तेदार है अक्रॉस द कंट्री और आपके शुभचिंतक है, सबको आप जानकारी दे दीजिए, क्योंकि ये भारत प्रवास जो है ना, ये हमारे देशवासियों को जोड़ने के लिए और सही हमारी दिशा पर सबको एकत्रित करने के लिए, क्योंकि ये हमारे जो नदी व्यवस्था है, जो हमारी वाटरवेज है, इस वाटरवेज के जरिए हम कैसे दुनिया में अपने शक्ति को दिखाए, दुनिया में ये साबित करें, वी आर द बेस्ट, वी आर द बेस्ट, वी आर द बेस्ट। थैंक यू। जय हिंद।
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for your powerful and motivating words. Now I request Dr. Manish Tiwari to kindly come forward and share with us all what Bharat Pravah has in store for us in the coming months. Sir, please.
नमस्कार। आदरणीय सोनोवाल जी, मंत्री जी, सान्याल जी और आप मंच पे उपस्थित सभी लोगों को आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आप सब लोगों का सहयोग, आप सब लोगों ने समय इसके लिए निकाला। The next which we want to do in the series of Bharat Pravah, this is the launch of this series what we have been talking about, and the next event which we'll be having and we would be talking more about the business and also the trade, the ancient trade which had happened in India, and we will be doing the next event in the new Mangalore port. That is what we want to announce here as the next in the series. Now I would request Dhruv ji to kindly come and give a vote of thanks. That is.
I think I won't disturb. Honorable Minister Saab, sir, first of all, you know, your words were so inspirational. I think I was if I was a student today, sir, I think, this will chart out a very different course for the next generation, sir. So thank you so much for those really inspirational words, and I think it's become very clear and evident the role that the waterways, the coast, the sea route, that it plays in terms of taking India forward and the destiny that we as Indians and India we need to have. I think on behalf of all the organizers, to Mr. Sanyal, Mr. Gopal Krishna, Mr. Kumar, Sethi Saab, a big thank you for taking the time out today. And I think most of all, I think to the organizers, this is an IGPP and the Ministry of Shipping. I think this is such a wonderful initiative to try and bring this awareness to the next generation, but also, sir, the population at large, to understand the importance of both our maritime heritage, as well as the importance that waterways, sea route, coastal cities, ecosystems play in terms of development of the country. So, sir, once again, thank you and heartiest congratulations to the organizers, and we look forward to being associated and taking this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would request the Honorable Minister to give the students a chance to interact with him and to click photographs too. Thank you, sir.